Alright. So, what did you just learn?
I felt like a deep dive on just framing properly and dealing with frames.
In what way? What made it easier to deal with the frames?
Trying to isolate limbs for one, recognizing when you're in a bad position and then trying to sort of like go to Kessler, trying to deal with the inside frame while starting with the outside arm to make movement easier. But yeah.
Getting off your back, getting onto your side, turning into the person. That line there.
Very good. Night and day, night. Yeah. Alright. Same information stuff, but the person's job now on the bottom is to catch one of the legs with your legs. Cool? Put them in half guard.
Right.
Yeah? When I call freeze, you stop and we identify, where we're struggling, what's going on. Cool?
Okay.
Really start paying attention now to, what happens to the head, the shoulder, the hips, yeah? Everything that we've done so far, we're just going to up the ante defensively from the bottom. Cool? So the person's job on the bottom now is to catch your leg with their legs. That's it. Cool?
Yeah.
Wait, what's that? Freeze. Ash, what's making this a vulnerable position for you?
North-south.
North-south.
He's completely past my knees.
Yes. So he's taken the other route, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Can he get to mount from north-south?
Crashing down and then coming around, I think so.
Yes, he sure can. Keep going.
I love this because you know exactly where I'm going. It's like my exploits.
We wait till we know the game plan.
Freeze. What allowed him to catch your leg, Ash?
Didn't pin him properly, and he was able to get up inside. Just going in and grab my leg.
Yep. Dan, what did you feel allowed your ability to turn into?
Pacing on his leg.
Posting on his leg? Where were you looking?
Well, I completely turned on my side and I crunched in. Right there.
So let's go from there now, right now. Ash, remember that wherever Dan looks, he'll be able to go to most of the time. Everything in Jiu-Jitsu happens from a curled position. Yeah? Use that information to make sure he can't catch your leg now. Go. Yes. Great job. Keep going. Freeze. Ash, what will allow Dan to continue his escape now and catch your leg?
Double unders.
Double unders. Keep going.
Give me back.
Freeze. Dan, what's making this a strong position for you?
For me,
Yep.
3/4 grip,
Great.
and leaning into using that to
Right. Ash,
keep my stability.
what can you do to put him flat on his back?
A better chest on chest connection. Diagonal.
Go.
I was going to say cross face, but I won't say cross face. There's a cross face.
for me, the biggest thing is pinning the shoulders properly to limit like as much mobility as I can.
Keep the person flat.
Yeah.
Keep the person flat.
You gotta get their hips and shoulders on the fucking ground.
Yeah.
Remember, every single time we do takedown, stand up, we have a multitude of ways of bringing the person down to the ground. Yeah. The moment the hip hits the ground, immobilization has started. Remember when you're rear-guarding from turtle and you see that the person's arse cheek hits the ground, bang! That's your time to guard pass. Remember that? That's huge. Exactly the same thing is happening here. If I can turn on my side here, my hip is off the ground, you have not immobilized me. The moment my shoulder is on the ground, off the ground, the same thing happens. So you've got to make sure that you understand the importance of putting their shoulders and hips, quote unquote, stuck in the mud. Cool? Yep. Alright. We're upping the ante for you. The person's job on top, get to mount at whatever cost, but you must look for putting their shoulders and hips stuck in the mud.
Okay.
Person's job on the bottom, you can use both hands and legs to defend them getting into mount. When you get to mount, you switch top to bottom.
Being able to focus, well, having the focus be keep their back flat changes how you move a little bit.
In what way, specifically?
I mean, you end up going back to, I suppose, the fundamentals. Get the shoulder in, cross face, get their head turned. If they've got their head turned, they're not going to be able to use their body in the same way. Fundamentally, once you've got that, getting the arm, focus on top body. Once you've got top control, it becomes easy to just keep your leg up.
Do you guys remember how we always talk about the fundamentals not being all that different, person to person, in the sense of we're all human beings, right? So if you can go from side control to north, south, to mount, to side control, all that requires is chest on chest and controlling elbows, really in its very, very essence. If you can do that, their shoulders will most likely be under control somehow. You'll have the ability to set up arm bars, shoulder locks, whatever it is, and you have control over their head. Yeah. And then we've added to that the importance of sticking the hips as well into the mat. Because you can just raise your hips, can't you? You can lift up, and everything becomes largely difficult. Yeah? Ash, what are you learning?
I think it's just more insight into the position itself. Before it was kind of like I would just get cross-face underhook and be like, I have inside control. But it's kind of like I was just on the side with no control.
Yeah.
Now it makes more sense with properly like shoving the other arm and this knee like blocking the hip to stop them from like moving more, turning in. It's not perfect, but like it makes more sense now.
Good. So we have one path being sliding the knee across. Then you have the other path which is stepping over. Yeah. So you got a tight version and then a loose version. I want you to do the same thing now. But try to step over. Why is it hard to step over?
I haven't like dealt with the legs or maybe turned them that way enough so that when I go to step over it's like, well, one, he just had good frame, so we'll just step over and you just made me go away.
You're completely off balance, right?
Yeah.
So you're running the risk of being elevated. What else?
I think, yeah, like you said, neither of us had control of the legs.
Alright, cool.
So, yeah, how are you going to get into mount if you just going to lift the leg in?
Alright, it's the same thing now. I want you to try to step over. But before you step over, I want you to walk as far towards their head as physically possible and try to make them look the other way before you step over. Alright? Pay attention to what happens.
So, how do you mean? So, if I'm inside control, move my legs close to his head.
Walk as far towards his head as you can, making sure that he's looking away at all times.
Okay.
Once you've done that, then try to step over.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's like wild. crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell? We almost like diagonal left me or something.
That time was different, because you would your head would turn so far that way, your body started to do this. Once your legs were over here,
Yeah.
I think, is that right? Is that what happened?
I couldn't even turn. Yeah, I didn't want to turn back. Yeah. But I think I'd snap my neck if I just twisted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ta-da.
That's really cool.
Sweet.
Why was that so effective? Previously, you struggled, you couldn't do it, you got
Yeah.
caught every time.
Yeah.
We made one little challenge. What was the challenge?
The head.
The head and,
Getting into the side.
yeah, you walking away towards the head, you're going towards north-south. Yeah? Very good. Why do you think making them look away and walking towards their head allows you to step over?
As soon as those hips are like facing more to the side, it's way harder to defend with your feet. Whereas before, when we were like just going through straight side control, stepping over, it was way easier to curl up.
Yeah.
But once you're on the side, the curl up doesn't super help that much.
It doesn't, because you curl up in one way and one way only, boys.
To the side, away.
Away from them.
Yeah.
That's very good. And if you do that too far, you expose the back.
Yeah.
Alright. Now do the same and then revert to the knee slide instead of the step over.
Okay.
Yeah? Off you go.
Piece of cake.
Takes a little bit more time, but there's space.
Yeah.
Keep going. Good. Alright. Gonna make this a lot harder for the person on top here. You can pass with a step over or a knee slide, it doesn't matter. But you must keep your hands together at all times. And your forehead must be on the ground for you to be able to do the actual pass. Yeah? So for you to mount from side control, you must have hands together. You can move freely without your forehead on the ground, but the moment you're executing the mount, you must have your forehead on the ground. Cool? Keep going now. Work for 2 minutes, please, and then switch top to bottom. Keep going, the person on the bottom, you need to feel for when he's ready to go. There is one very specific prompt that will teach you that he's ready to go. 1 more minute.
Yeah, nice. That's what it is. Yeah, sweet.
Alright, let's stop there. Why was it so hard to pass over?
Well, it was at that point of timing, hey? So with head, hands clamped, and head on the mats.
Yeah.
If he's on his side and he times it well, which he did both times, because he could sense when I was about to bring the leg over, you just off balance because you're already in a position of off balance.
Very good.
Yeah, it was difficult to properly turn you because it felt like my hands were in the way, and then when I wanted to turn you, I'd be committing so much of my body like over it. Whereas I didn't even realize before it was kind of like one arm was cross facing, the other one was flared, but almost like mostly for posting.
Yeah. When I start like this, what I found helped a little bit is when I was trying to do this, I actually tried to flip my hands to try to keep them locked.
Yeah.
And it worked, it did help. But I couldn't, like keeping it locked. I know, there's something there.
Something there. Alright. Next up now. Full gamut. Your job is just to go from side control to mount. The only caveat now is that you need to call out before you go whether you're going to knee slide or step over.
Okay.
Yeah? You can defend however you please. Don't let them get to mount. When you get to mount, you switch top to bottom. 5 minutes of work. Cool? Grab some coffee if you have to, and then we'll rock. Just get to mount, son. And then get pull out if you're going to slide or step over. Yeah.
Step.
We go. You managed to get 2, 1 each bounds in 5 minutes. What made it difficult?
Well, the minute you call it, there's going to be that space open up as soon as their leg comes over, tries to slide, and the person on the bottom knows that's the opportunity to get the knee in place, get the elbows, get the connections, whatever.
So you're developing a reflex
Yeah.
based on, there's a verbal cue, right? But that, what did you feel in the moment when the person called it out?
Feeling? Nothing, but it's immediately followed by a shift in weight as they like start to move over.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you do. I felt it loosen up. Everything loosened up.
So when you tried stepping over or sliding over, things became looser.
Yeah. Because, and I could be wrong, but I feel like when I went to go for it, I had to loosen up to maintain my balance.
Interesting. Let me show you something. Okay. So let's say that I went to step over. You guys both did it so really well. You went here, you went here, and then now you both said, I have to loosen up when I step over. Feel the pressure there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the pressure still there?
Yeah.
Alright, very good.
Oh.
Ash, can I hear you so you can feel it too?
Because of the fish, that's not what we're doing.
But that's a huge piece of feedback, guys.
100%.
If you felt that the weight distributed in a way where things became loose,
Yeah.
as a defender, that means that we got to tighten things up. Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright. So here's what they
I see what you're doing. That's like easy as hell.
This is just
Yeah. You just did it in slow mo.
slow mo. Can you see how when the moment I move my legs to start stepping over, I have to readjust my head and my elbow to maintain balance. I can't loosen it up. If I loosen it up, what happens is what happened to you. You stepped over like that, and Ash just went bye-bye, and he just went out the other way. Alright, practice that a couple of times, please. So walk towards the head, keep tremendous pressure on the face. Yeah? And here now, just a couple of technical details.
Okay.
You need to flare your elbow, put your forehead on the ground,
Yep.
hover above the ground with your knees, and then slowly walk towards his head. He should feel like he's having a fucking stroke in a bit.
It's a bad time.
Yeah. Now, when you walk back you need to readjust your right elbow and head pointed towards me so that you can keep the pressure on his head. You feel that?
Yep.
Yes, look at that. Well done. Much better. How did that feel, Ash?
Yeah, good.
Face massage. Very good.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Alright, Ash, your turn. Revenge, motherfucker. Here comes the Mountain Dew. Flare that right elbow. That's it. Then you readjust as you slowly walk back and get ready to step over. Stay there now, Ash. Bring your left knee close to his body. That's it. And then now you can start stepping. Go again.
I think just a little bit of feedback from what was different with Ken and what you're doing. Ken was here.
Oh, okay.
You were here.
Right.
So I'm fine. You just kind of rest it on my head, and I can beat it fella.
Okay.
So under my chin. That.
Great feedback. Well done.
Yeah.
It's almost like please just step over. Yeah? So pressure somewhere around here, not up here. Your skull can handle what, 500 pounds of pressure or some shit, right? Nuts. But the moment you move down towards the jaw and the neck, it's very weak.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's why you also slipped off.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Alright, very good. Next round of specific training, 5 minutes of work starting in supine guard with feet behind knees. Person's job on top, get to side control, then get to mount.
Okay.
Person's job on the bottom, make them fall over. Yeah? Simple enough?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. Anytime a person falls over, or you get to mount, you switch top to bottom.
Okay.
standing. Everything goes as per normal. Submissions from every position that you know. You guys don't have any particular injuries, but be careful. Cool? Yep. If there is a sub, you reset seated versus standing. Cool? Yep. Cool. Alright, let's do it.
Here we see the person on the bottom is starting to enter a leg entanglement to make sure the person on top, can't pass. He does a good job just bumping him over, but Ash has a reasonably good reaction here. Just wrestling Dan up and over. Dan has caught his arm, which can cause a little bit of trouble if you're not aware straight away. There is a huge size difference here. Ash is doing a good job trying to deal with that arm, and Dan manages to get back in front of the person. It looks like he's chasing a 2-on-1 grip, almost a Kimura trap, and he plays his Z-guard quite well. He needs to be careful when he wrestles up against someone as strong and big as Ash, because the moment there is a little bit of back exposure there, as you can see, Ash is on it straight away, even though this is not high intensity. Ash is doing great, hand fighting here, and so is Dan defensively doing the right thing, getting a 2-on-1 grip and turning into him. Ash is doing a great job countering here, searching for that mount position, quite well and controlled. He's starting to trap an arm here, so Dan needs to be rather careful. One thing here that Ash could do a little bit better is to widen his base and put more weight on Dan through his face and his elbow with his chest. That's going to make it rather difficult for Dan to create any kind of space, which he's doing here now. I suppose almost doing a variation of the telephone defense before he weaves his arm back out. And he manages to catch Ash in the half guard. The biggest thing here now, straight away, Dan needs to turn on his side a little bit sooner than what he did, and he needs to fight for Ash's right arm, making sure that he can protect against the crossface and the trapped arm. He's doing a really good job here fighting for the underhook, and he manages to maintain that leg with some sticky monkey feet. But here now, he needs to fight and push and pull a lot more and make a decision as to whether he's going to go to either side. He's lucky there not getting caught in the initial head and arm triangle before Ash now catches him in guillotine setup. It's an arm in guillotine. Dan is doing the right job. He's posting on his hip and getting his head up underneath Ash's chin before he then starts passing. Ash claims half guard and he has to stay on his side. It doesn't matter if he's bigger and stronger at this stage. Dan needs to be a little bit careful here. He's kind of looking over that cliff, the analogy that we use, without actually having Ash's face cross-faced. That makes Ash strong and he can shove Dan off in order to escape the half guard. Dan manages to get to mount and then transitions into a technical mount. There is a little mistake here from Dan's end with his right leg where he could walk that foot to the inside instead of having his knee pointed up to the sky. He's working on trapping both arms and controlling both elbows. He could do a better job of controlling the bottom elbow, but now he snatches the arm really well for a very swift armbar. Going again, they're starting in standing versus seated guard, which is our position. Dan steps into the middle. From here, he's easily caught in a half butterfly hook. Again, he needs to cross-face Ash a lot better and make sure that he puts Ash's left hip on the ground so that that doesn't happen. From here, Dan is doing a good job of matching levels as he comes in.
I guess.
And the round is over. From here, the boys are doing a little bit of a debrief, so I will stop the voice over here so you can listen to what they have to say.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like, I think if you squish me,
Like crossface harder or?
you know, what's it called when you,
The head and arm.
yeah, like the hand when you're like squeezing. Mother's milk, burn me,
Right.
burn me out, and
Give
then,
him some daddy's milk, bro.
yeah. If you do that, Kev does it to me all the time. And it's so useful in just burning the other person up. Because then you're gasping for energy and air. I was like, and then you can focus on this.
Yeah.
But at that point I was like, no, I'm good.
I think the other issue too is that you had that completely out stress on my other knee.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't properly like.
Yeah. I had that frame out.
Yeah.
Or post. I was posting.
And it's one of those like, I didn't really want to abandon what I had going on, but that sort of prevented like me from properly executing anything.
Well, one thing I've learned even just today, it's not that I've learned it, because I've known it, you forget it.
That's the problem, eh? It's, you know these things, you know them.
Yeah, well, because after going through it, I'm like, oh yeah, we've done this before. I know exactly what we're doing. Like, you've told me this a million times. And now I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is the technique, so we're applying the technique. Take your time with it.
Mm.
So if it means you have to abandon something else to get a stronger grip somewhere else, it seems worth it if it's part of the objective, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I'll follow you. It's kind of like when you, I don't know, get a choke, but it's like not sunk in properly. So you're just like really cranking on something that's not choking.
Yeah. So in that situation, I feel like if you had have bailed on this post and maybe moved somewhere else as a way to strengthen what you did have, and then it kind of came back.
Yeah, I think I got too excited about the like. I'd always struggled with like walking the hand up.
Yeah.
And
Like,
it's one of those things that like I've already been showing, I already know, but when I like walked up and then straightened and walked again, I was like, oh my god, it works.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
correct me if I'm wrong, but if I had that, you had this kind of like that, and I had the post, right? So if you kind of abandon like that for a minute, don't worry about that. There. There. Oh, right. Is that right? Wrong? Go ahead. 1, 2 cents.
Alright. Last
This
round.
here is the final round where the boys are starting standing versus standing. So let's have a little look. Standing versus standing. It's a David versus Goliath here. Here we've got tangling up straight away. Ash is having a little smirk as he always does in standing. Battling the collar tie. The boys here are doing a good job at just sort of pitter-pattering around. They're reading patterns. They're fighting overhook versus underhook. Ash manages to briefly get his hands together here, and when a giant gets his hands together, it's game over. He does a good job of getting behind Dan and just slowly and very controlled returning him down to the mats, seeking side control. Straight away here, he's doing the right job. He's making Dan carry his weight. He's moving his legs and dealing with the frames quite well. Dan manages to sneak his frame in for setup to a little bit of a ghost escape. There is an opportunity here for Ash to let go of Dan's right arm and actually start seeking north-south, getting double unders from north-south here. That would have been a good idea so Dan couldn't re-guard, which he did reasonably well. Ash here is trying to stay in front of Dan in terms of side control, but he wasn't able to. And now he has to deal with almost like a deep De La Riva type setup, which is very typical for a back take. Dan is doing a good job here against a bigger opponent, just holding on and staying tight, keeping his chest velcro to Ash's back. And then we're straight into the hand fight. This is something that Ash is working on a lot at the moment, and he's reading that really well. Dan doesn't have control and he just simply turns into him. And now he does the right thing. He clears the leg, steps over, and he's almost in a smash pass-esque position here. There is one thing there that Ash could have done a lot better, and that's keeping his hip much, much closer to Dan so that they don't end up in the scenario where they are. Back to the initial hand fight. Nothing crazy here, nothing intense. The boys are tired, but they're reading patterns well. They're engaging. They're getting to the collar tie. They're starting to clear them, and they're clearly looking for a simple connection and then fighting for either underhooks or overhooks. before they're looking at most likely getting behind the person or doing a variation of a snap down. Very good catch here from Ash into a front headlock position. There is no arm here, and Ash is doing a great job of keeping Dan's hips under control. If Ash had the arm in, he wouldn't have had to assume closed guard. It would have still been very, very strong. And Dan's doing a good job of keeping his forehead on the ground to defend and driving a little bit of shoulder pressure into Ash. Here he's doing a reasonably good job. There's a couple of ways here in which he could get out a lot easier, but he's managing well. Ash isn't really doing much, but Dan has to be aware here of one arm in, one arm out, especially against a bigger opponent, which he deals with quite well, sort of weaving that leg through, getting into half guard. This is much better compared to what they did in the first round. There is a lot more cross-face pressure here, and Ash is actually making some grimaces, which is a very good sign. Dan is doing a good job being patient. With his left leg here, if he walks his left knee up to the sky and points it out to the side, he's not at risk of being swept. That is a big mistake, but Ash does not recognize that, and Dan wins the battle, ending up in top mount. From here, Dan does not have Ash's arms under control, so going that high up against someone that strong actually makes their hip frame very, very strong and is very difficult to deal with in the top position. So overall, great couple of rounds. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below.